My husband's autism diagnosis has made me lose hope for our future. This is a lot and I don't even know what I'm looking for here. I'm just lost. My 37F husband, 37M, has always struggled with communication. He doesn't know how to initiate conversations or hold conversations that have any depth whatsoever. A little background: we got together at 19. At the time, my home life was a complete shit show, and I was going through a hard time mentally. He was there. Eventually, I saw him as a way to escape my circumstances. I couldn't afford to live on my own, so we got a place together. Then my dad died of suicide when I was 20, and I found his body, which was the hardest thing I'd ever been through. I had debilitating anxiety after that, and became completely codependent. I was terrified of being alone. My husband, BF at the time, never offered many words, but he was present. He gave me a shoulder to lean on and didn't run off when I was at my lowest. He was my rock. But for years, his lack of communication has been a big issue for me in our relationship, and he knows it. He'll try for a little while and be slightly better, but then he goes back to his ways of internalizing everything and offering almost nothing to conversation. I contemplated ending our relationship many times when we were dating because of this, but could never bring myself to do it because 1, I was codependent and didn't want to be alone. 2, I genuinely care about him, so the thought of hurting him breaks my heart. And 3, I was convinced I would never find anyone better. Because he's a good person. Growing up, I had 0 examples of healthy relationships. My parents divorced when I was 2 and each bounced from one toxic relationship to another. There was addiction, infidelity, abuse, and my husband wasn't like that. He loves me, I trust him and don't believe he'd ever cheat, and he's respectful and not abusive. In my mind, he was a total catch and I'd never find someone else like that. So I pushed aside the issues and married him. We'll be married 10 years this summer, and now have 2 kids. The lack of communication continues to be a huge problem. From a young age, I noticed that our son seemed to have some challenges with communication as well. He's literally my husband's mini-me. Eventually, he was evaluated and diagnosed with ASD. It was a shock, because I had a very misguided understanding of autism at the time. But after our son's diagnosis, I learned as much as I could, and soon became convinced that my husband was autistic as well. Sure enough, he was officially evaluated and diagnosed about a year ago. While having a diagnosis explains so much, it has made me lose hope for the future of our marriage. And I feel like the biggest POS on the planet for feeling that way. I think I've always naively believed that eventually he would learn to be a better communicator, but now the diagnosis has confirmed that his brain is wired differently and he will never be. I was able to look past it before, but now at 37, my needs in our relationship have evolved and have been unmet for years. Being married to him is so incredibly lonely. He doesn't share things, doesn't share feelings. He doesn't talk about his day or express an interest in mine. I try striking up a conversation and he typically answers things with a yes or no but gives nothing else and doesn't reciprocate my efforts to connect emotionally. If we do successfully get into a conversation, he is very quick to shut down if it gets remotely serious. He has no passion or motivation to grow, no goals or dreams for the future, at least none that he's shared. Every ounce of free time he gets is spent either playing video games, listening to a podcast about video games, or watching YouTube videos related to video games. We have almost nothing in common anymore, and I think socializing, even just with me, is so overwhelming for him that he sometimes avoids me altogether. He avoids eye contact and even pretends to sleep when I walk in the room sometimes, because he doesn't want to be obligated into a conversation. Over the past 2 weeks, I intentionally stopped trying. I haven't asked him about his day or offered anything about mine. I haven't tried to connect at all. My hope was that he'd notice and would initiate, but he hasn't. At all. He is going about life like everything is normal. It's also been worrisome watching him as a dad. He's wonderful in many ways. He plays with them, is constantly thinking of them and bringing home little treats or gifts. He's attentive and fun. But when it comes to serious things, he is incapable. I do all of the disciplining, I have all of the serious conversations. He has no idea how to talk to our kids about sex, safety, consent, or how to teach them meaningful lessons. I worry all the time what would happen if I died. It creates real anxiety. What would they do? How would he parent them? How would he teach them? He goes from being way too lax to getting overstimulated and snapping at them. I'm afraid to even leave them for a weekend getaway because I don't think he could handle it. I just don't know what to do anymore. I am not happy. I don't want our relationship to end. I don't want to break up our family. But I'm so tired. I feel like I've been taking care of him and helping him navigate life for 18 years without even realizing it. It occurred to me today that I wasn't the only one that was codependent. He was too, and still very much is. I do so many things for him that he simply doesn't know how to do. I also have been taking care of my mom and younger siblings since I was a teenager. And now as a mom, I have my own children to take care of. My responsibility is to them, and them only. I'm tired of taking care of everyone else all the time. I want a partner that is emotionally available and is a partner, not someone else I have to take care of. I want a partner that makes me feel safe and is capable of taking the lead. Honestly, if there was an intruder in our house, or a fire, or something catastrophic, I'm not even sure he'd be capable of saving us. I feel like he would shut down and I would have to save us all. He can't handle stress, and I'm just so tired of being everything for everyone all the time. I am in therapy and have asked him to get into therapy as well, but he hasn't done it. I like to believe I was in love with him at some point. I certainly care about him deeply, but it's hard to be in love with someone who I can't connect with because he doesn't open up and is so emotionally unavailable. I have so much guilt for these feelings because my son has this diagnosis too, and thinking of him struggling like this in relationships someday breaks my heart. I have him in many groups and therapies now in order to try and give him the tools to navigate life and relationships that his dad never got as a child. I know this was stupid long and I don't anticipate many responses, but it was therapeutic for me to write it out. If you made it this far, thank you.